Hi, this is Marty from Photoshop Arthouse. I'm going to show you how to create a mind-bending bidirectional optical illusion of a face. I provided two angles of the same face that you could use for this project, one looking forward and the other in profile. When you open them in Photoshop, you'll see a grid on them because the originals can't be distributed to the public without adding watermarks of some kind. If you do use another face, just make sure the head is positioned the same for both angles and that they're lighted evenly and photographed from the same height and distance. The first step is to separate the subject from its background. In the recent beta version of Photoshop, Adobe has tremendously improved the selection feature, so I'm using the beta version for this project. If you're a Creative Cloud subscriber, open the Creative Cloud desktop, click Apps, and download Photoshop Beta. This feature works by accessing the cloud, so we need to verify that the feature is turned on in your beta version. To check it on a Mac, go to Settings and Image Processing. In Windows, go to Edit, Preferences, Image Processing, and next to select Subject and remove background, choose Cloud. We can keep faster for all the processing. To separate our subject from its background, open any of these selection tools and click the Select Subject button. We know it's giving us the most accurate selection because it's accessing the cloud. Another way to select the subject is to click anywhere on the canvas outside the document and click Show Contextual Taskbar. We can either click Select Subject or Remove Background. For the profile, click Remove Background. This actually masks out the background by making a layer mask of our subject. If we Alt or Option click the layer mask, we can see what an amazing job it did. Notice how well it selected the wispiness of the hair. To see your subject again, just Alt or Option click the layer mask again. Now, you may be saying to yourself, yeah, but Marty, the background of this photo is a plain gray color. How will it do removing a more complex background? Well, let me show you. In this photo, there's a lot going on in the background behind our subject of the man with his bicycle. I'll click Remove Background, and voila! Check out how it isolated even all the spokes. I'll Alt-click the layer mask to see it as a layer mask. So yeah, the recent beta version is a huge improvement to detect the details of subjects from their backgrounds. Open the photo of the subject facing forward. This time, we don't want the layer mask, just its selection. We'll cut and copy our subject inside the selection to its own layer by pressing Ctrl or Command J. We'll create a white background under it. Ctrl or Command click the new layer icon. Press Shift and the F5 key at the top of your keyboard to open the Fill window, or you could go to Edit and Fill. Click White. Make the top layer active and open the profile. We'll place it onto the other head by pressing V to open our Move tool and dragging the profile onto the tab of the other head. Without releasing our mouse or pen, press and hold the Shift key as we drag it down and release. Pressing Shift kept our profile head centered over the document. Reduce its opacity to 50% so we could see the head under it. Open the Transform tool and drag it over so the profile's lips, eyes, and nose are positioned over the same features of the head facing forward. If they're not all lining up exactly, the lips are the most important. If you need to resize the profile, go to a corner and drag it in or out. Continue to finesse it until you like how it's lined up. Then press Enter or Return twice and increase its opacity back to 100%. Make the layer mask of the profile active and drag it down next to the head facing forward. We'll make a black layer mask next to the profile to mask it out. Alt or Option click the layer mask icon. We'll reveal back just the nose of the profile by brushing in white over that area of the layer mask. First, Control or Command-click the layer mask of the profile to select its shape. Hide it by pressing Control or Command-H. The selection is still there, it's just hidden from view. Open your brush tool. We need to make our foreground color white. If your foreground and background colors aren't black and white, press D on your keyboard. To reverse the colors, press X, so white is our foreground color. Open the brush picker and pick a soft, round brush. We'll adjust its size in a moment. Its hardness is 0%, and its opacity and flow are 100%. To make your brush bigger or smaller, make sure the caps lock key is off and press the right or left bracket key on your keyboard. Now brush over the nose to reveal the nose of the profile. If you want to adjust the brush's opacity, press the numbers on your keyboard to decrease or increase it. For example, if we want the opacity of the brush to be 60%, press 6. For 50%, press 5. Lastly, let's crop it. But before we do, press Ctrl or Command-D to deselect the hidden selection. Make a composite snapshot by pressing Ctrl-Alt-Shift-E on Windows or Command-Option-Shift-E on a Mac. Open your Crop tool and the Crop presets. Click Width, Height, and Resolution, and click the Clear button, which clears the amounts. Drag any of the sides and or the top to frame it to your liking. Then press Enter or Return twice. This is Marty from Photoshop Arthouse. Thanks for watching.